So today is another update of me reading Dom Enlightenment Part 7, I think. So which is where I go through this book called Dom Enlightenment and read through it, right? So first thing I read today was inline styling and how we can programmatically add styles, CSS properties and everything. So first method that I saw was like direct assignment, which is like node dot styles node dot style dot property is equal to whatever, and second way was to use a setter method, which is set property. And for the longest time I was searching the difference between those two, and I did not find the difference between those two. However, I found one article which was telling about good coding practices and how the uh, property name might change and henceforth and forth. But I did not find a concrete answer to the question which one to use, what are the advantage of using one or the other. So yeah, so I also stumbled upon something called bionic reading, like afterwards, like when I was taking a break from reading Tom, which is basically highlighting the first few characters which will enhance the speed of reading. I saw it works in few cases, but in other cases it slowed me down. When reading something very technical, it slowed me down. It's very simplistic, it just boosts up the speed. So I tried using it for the website on which I read Dom Enlightenment, but it did not help that much, so I had to revert that change back. So there are two more methods which are used to append the whole CSS properties altogether. For example, set attributes will replace the old CSS that element had and replace it with new one, and so is CSS text, which will replace the old property and just add the new property altogether, remove all the styles. So these are two properties which can be used to just replace all styles altogether instead of replacing one by one, which could be rather slow and tedious. So these are two methods which can be used. There's another property called get computed style. So this one was very interesting to me because I have been in a situation where the styles I wrote are not the actual styles that show up in the DevTools. For example, once I remember writing a calculation in CSS, which is calc property, and the result that showed up was different for each device, right? So even properties like relative properties also change into pixels when they are in the device. So get computed property will return you the calculated values, which then you can truly evaluate what is the current value at that given point of time. So for me it helped in understanding how calculation got converted into pixels when I was using that property long time ago. Then I also was reading about VIM again, and also practicing VIM. So I found another great cheat sheet tool, something called devtools.io, something like that. This it is just list of cheat sheets for every tool that a developer needs, and it is amazing. Like it has CLI, Bash, Tmux, Vim, React, JavaScript, TypeScript, all these tools, and their cheat sheet is there. I'm going to refer that more often. It has 13K stars on GitHub. I have started. It's amazing. Like there's an amazing tool. Even for Vim, it has very concise and very well explained cheat sheet methods. Today I've stumbled upon two or three new methods. I think two new methods, which is one just asterisk. So asterisk will, suppose your cursor is on a word, then asterisk will, pressing asterisk will take you to the next same word, and pressing hash will take you to the previous next word. These two properties I learned, and I think these are going to be very helpful. And G U and G capital U G uh, tilde, like these things also will help into like changing the case of the, I don't know, it's called tilde, it's called like the curve thing, I don't know what it's called, but these properties helps in making it uppercase and lowercase. You want to change the word really fast, because that is where like the shortcut would come into handy. So another thing I learned was around. So I used to use DIW and uh, YIW a lot. So basically delete in word or delete like yank in word something in. I also learned that there is something called around which lets you copy everything that you want to do. So suppose everything in bracket including the bracket, which I was doing in bracket a lot. So amazing, I'll get to use that. So that is an interesting thing I found. Next in DOM, I was learning about text nodes. So text nodes are represented different way, and these the text node properties similarly apply to comment node also. So for example, white spaces, right? Every white space is a text node, and similarly every comment is also a text node. So when we do next sibling and the next thing is a comment, like most probably people would think it that would get ignored, but that comment becomes the next text node that is included. Then there are other methods also which have been used to get the properties of text and insert the text. So to insert the text, we have create text node property that will help in creating a text node. And the next thing which was to get the value which was inside the text node, which can we can get using node value. Another way to get the data inside the text node is dot data itself. So it will return you the value which is inside that. Now there are two things. First thing is about how to manipulate text. So there are multiple methods to manipulate the text and get the text data. For example, append text and wait, there are multiple methods. I'll just check and tell you. So there is append data, there is delete data, there is insert data, there is replace data, there is substring data. I haven't used most of them. I will probably get to use them in the Vanilla.js project, which I will be building soon. And substring data is one of the interesting ones because I never thought to uh, like HTML itself would have like the DOM itself would have a substring API to get the data from and yeah replace data like just these APIs they have. I didn't know this existed. I thought this was mostly using JavaScript. This could have been done only using JavaScript, but yeah, these exist. This is another interesting thing I found, which I never really thought about it, but now that I have stumbled across it, it just makes sense, right? So this thing is about having so HTML is smart enough to combine multiple text nodes which are together, right? Which are next to each other. But there are few cases where that is not the case. First case is where the text node has a child inside it. For example, if there is a p tag inside which there is a strong tag, then these two child nodes, these two text nodes will be considered differently, and we have to perform different operations on both of them. If I do first child element, I will get inside thing inside the p, and if I do next child, then I'll get inside the strong element, right? The second case is basically where we programmatically include one text after another. If I have a body, if and inside it, if I do to create node and append it into body, these two will be considered two different nodes. Wherein, if I would have just inserted one text with simple two words, it would have been considered a single node. Learning, right? Most of the things I Google, I take documents into reference and like try to make a brain map of what I'm trying to learn. And if I find something new, I'll Google it, find the docs, find the articles which are written on it. But I think ChatGPT is or like any AI tool out there is very useful in one thing is to for me to understand what I need to learn. For example, if I don't know what I'm looking for, then uh, I think AI tools make that very easy for me. So I can just type some random problem which Google search engine wouldn't provide for me. Like I wanted to know difference between set attribute and directly assigning properties to the style object, but I could not. For the longest time, I could not. But if I would have given the same thing to ChatGPT or like Gemini or like anything, right? It would have been far more simpler to understand what I need to look for, and probably the process would have been shorter. Yeah, so that's what today's update. Yeah, that's it for today. That's what I said today. I'll continue doing it, and I have 124 125 subscribers. That is amazing. and it's growing at a very good pace. Like I didn't expect this to grow at this pace or anything. I thought I was just documenting my journey, but I also wanted to build a community. So let's see how it goes.